Her mother-in-law's wrapper slipped, and Alayla's scream died in her throat. The ancient clay pot wasn't just against Mama Ezina's stomach. It was inside it, fused into her flesh like a window into hell. Through its pulsing walls, faces pressed outward, their mouths frozen in eternal hunger. Children's faces. Beautiful, isn't it? Mama Ezini's teeth glinted like knives in the firelight. Soon, we'll take one of your twins to feed us. The other, her sharp nails caressed Alayla's pregnant belly, will become the next vessel. But this isn't just a story about a cursed family pot. This is about what happens a mother must choose between her unborn children and a dark compliance with tradition. The air hung heavy with palm oil and spices as Alayla watched her new mother-in-law prepare the wedding feast. Everything seemed perfect. Too perfect. But there was something about the way Mama Ezina's teeth glinted in the firelight that made Alayla's skin crawl. "Come closer, my daughter," Mama Ezini beckoned, her smile sharp as a cutlass. "Every new bride must eat from the family pot." The ancient clay pot bubbled on the hearth, its contents an impossible shade of red. As Alayla approached, she could have sworn she heard whispers rising with the steam, the voices of children crying out in hunger. But what truly made her blood run cold was the way the pot seemed to pulse, like a living heart, beneath her mother-in-law's wrapper. And when Mama Ezine reached to stir it, her flesh rippled and stretched, as if the pot wasn't just against her belly but part of it. "First, we welcome you properly into the family," Mama Ezina said, ladling the thick red soup into a special clay bowl. "Eat, my daughter. Eat until you can't eat anymore." Alayla's husband, Obinna, appeared beside her, his eyes glazed with an unsettling eagerness. "Take it, my love," he whispered, but his voice carried an edge of desperation. "The family pot has fed generations. It keeps us together." Around the compound, Alayla noticed Obinna's siblings watching with hollow eyes. His sister Hawa, who couldn't have been more than 25, looked aged beyond her years, skin hanging loose like old cloth. His brother Chidi sat in the corner, thin as a skeleton but with the innocent smile of a child. The soup smelled divine, like her late mother's cooking, like every comfort she'd lost when she became an orphan. But as Alayla raised the first spoonful to her lips, the liquid moved of its own accord, rushing into her mouth with hungry intent. The taste was beyond description. Sweet, savory, and something else. Something that spoke of power, and age, and meat. As she swallowed, Alayla felt a strange sensation, as if something was reaching inside her, taking hold. "Good girl," Mama Ezini purred, her teeth now unmistakably sharp in the fading light. "Now you are truly part of our family." That night, Alayla noticed her wedding ring was loose, her fingers somehow thinner. But when she looked at Obinna sleeping beside her, she could have sworn his face was smoother, younger than at their wedding just hours before. It was only the beginning. Days melted into weeks, and each family meal became a ritual Alayla couldn't escape. The pot called to her, its contents always bubbling, always hungry. She found herself forgetting things. First small details, then bigger ones. The name of her childhood best friend, the sound of her father's laugh, the way to walk home from the market without asking permission. "Miba'a, you look tired," her mother-in-law would say, ladling extra portions into her bowl. "Eat more. The pot knows what you need." But with each meal, Alayla watched her fingers grow thinner, her skin looser, while Obinna seemed to radiate youth. At night, she'd catch him staring at his reflection, touching his smooth face with an addict's desperation. Then came the morning sickness, not from the pregnancy, though Alayla felt that too, a flutter of life in her belly, but from the memories. They would hit her in waves, the taste of her siblings' fear as they were spooned into the pot, the sound of their essence being consumed. But these weren't her memories. They belonged to someone else. Someone who had sat where she now sat, eaten what she now ate. One night she found a diary hidden in the rafters, its pages brittle with age. The handwriting changed halfway through, becoming childlike, desperate. It was worse than I thought. The pot takes more than food, it takes choice. Today I forgot how to say no. Tomorrow I may forget my name. Mama has a complete hold on me and I can't leave. But I remember what I saw in her belly. The pot is not a pot at all. There is evil magic happening here that should not be. The rest was illegible, the words dissolving into scribbles. But tucked into the final page was a scrap of wrapper, and written in blood were the words, "Twin souls can break the curse, but the price is flesh freely given." That night, as Alela lay awake feeling the twins move inside her, she heard Obinna crying in his sleep. "I had to," he whimpered. "Mama said it was the only way." I held the spoon myself, watched them melt into the soup. My brothers, my sisters. But the pot must be fed. Alela reached for him but stopped. In the moonlight, his face was that of a young boy, though his body remained a man's. The pot wasn't just taking her youth. It was regressing him, erasing the years until nothing would remain but a child's blind devotion to his mother. When the moon hung full and heavy like a watching eye, the new yam festival came. Mama Ezina had insisted on a special feast, her excitement growing as abnormal as her belly, which now pulsed visibly beneath her wrapper. "Your babies are strong," she said, licking her lips while running her sharp-nailed fingers over Alela's swollen stomach. Such power in twin souls. But it was what Alela saw next that shattered any doubts about her fate. As Mama Ezina bent to stir the pot, her wrapper slipped. There, embedded in her flesh like a grotesque window, was the pot itself. Not held against her body but fused into it. Ancient clay merged with skin, pulsing with a life of its own. Through its semi-transparent walls, Alela could see faces pressing outward, mouths open in silent screams. "Beautiful, isn't it?" Mama Ezine caught her staring. The first Mama Ezine made it from her own stomach, turned inside out. Dark magic, but important for the family. Every woman who holds the pot must become the pot, must feed the family, must keep us together. Her smile stretched impossibly wide. "Soon, you'll understand. One of your twins will feed us, make us stronger. The other will carry on the legacy. That's why the pot called to them, made them two instead of one." Alela felt the babies kick in protest, but beneath that was another sensation. The pot's hunger reaching for them, already tasting their essence. She watched in horror as Obinna stumbled into the room, now looking no older than 12, his eyes bright with fever. "Mama," he whimpered, "I'm hungry." Mama Ezine's eyes gleamed. "Yes, my son, we're all hungry. But soon, very soon, we'll feast again." That night, Alela woke to the sound of chewing. Following the noise, she found Hawa, Obinna's sister, crouched in the corner of the kitchen, her aged hands clawing at her own skin. "I can feel them inside," Hawa whispered, her voice cracking like dried leaves. "All of us, everyone the pot has ever eaten. We're all still here, still hungry. The pot demands more, always more." Hawa's skin had begun to bubble and stretch, revealing glimpses of others beneath, faces pressing through her flesh like masks. "You have to end it," she gasped. "The diary, the twins. Freely given flesh can break the curse, but it must be." Before she could finish, Hawa's body convulsed, her mouth opened in a silent scream as she began to fold in on herself, her essence being pulled toward the pot in Mama Ezine's room. Within moments, only empty clothes remained. Alela ran back to her room, her hands pressed against her swollen belly. The twins kicked frantically, as if they too could sense their grandmother's hunger growing. But in their movements, Alela felt something else. Power, ancient and deep, the kind that could match the pot's evil. She found the diary again, reading it through newly understanding eyes. "Twin souls can break the curse, but the price is a body freely given. Not the body of innocence, not her babies. The curse needed a powerful body, willingly sacrificed. The body of someone already bound to the pot, but still strong enough to choose. As dawn broke, Mama Ezina called the family to eat. Obinna, now looking barely 10 years old, clutched his mother's wrapper as she stirred the pot in her belly. The remaining siblings sat around the table, their faces blank with submission. "Your time is near," Mama Ezina said, grinning at Aleila's pregnant form. "I can smell the power in them. One to feed us, one to continue. That's how it must be. That's how it has always been." But as she reached for the ladle, Aleila stood. The room grew still, as river water before a storm. "No," Aleila said, her voice carrying the weight of generations of consumed souls. "I know what the pot truly hungers for. Not the weak, not the young. It craves choice, power, free will." She stepped forward, one hand on her belly, the other reaching toward the pot. "And I choose to end this." Mama Ezina's laughter filled the room like bitter smoke. "Foolish child, you think you can fight generations of power? The pot is eternal. The pot is family. The pot is afraid." Aleila cut in, feeling the truth rise in her throat like bile. "It's afraid because I'm not just offering myself. I'm offering choice, knowledge, power freely given, not taken." The pot pulsed violently in Mama Ezina's belly, its contents churning. Through its clay walls, faces pressed outward with renewed desperation. Generations of consumed souls awakening to Aleila's words. "I choose to give myself," Aleila continued, her voice growing stronger. "Not for hunger, but for freedom. Not for power, but for love." She locked eyes with Obinna, seeing a flash of the man he had been beneath the child he had become. And love freely given is stronger than any hunger. Mama Ezina lunged forward, her sharp teeth bared, but Aleila was ready. She pressed both hands against the pot embedded in the older woman's flesh. At her touch, the clay grew hot, ancient magic, recognizing ancient truth. "No!" Mama Ezina shrieked, but it was too late. Aleila felt the pot's hunger turn toward her, felt it begin to pull at her essence. But instead of fighting, she embraced it. She poured everything into it. Her memories, her choices, her love, her rage. Most importantly, she poured in her willingness to sacrifice. The pot's surface began to crack. "What are you doing?" Mama Ezina's voice had become a chorus of screams, all the previous mothers speaking through her. "Stop! You'll destroy everything." "No," Aleila said calmly, even as she felt her body beginning to dissolve. "I'm setting them free." The pot's hunger caught fire with her sacrifice, ancient magic consuming itself in a flash of terrible understanding. Cracks spread across its surface like lightning. From within its depths came a sound, not of pain, but of release. Mama Ezina fell to her knees as the pot in her belly shattered. From its broken pieces poured not soup, but spirits. Generations of consumed souls finally breaking free. They swirled around the room like wind, each passing through Aleila with a whispered thank you. Obinna's siblings began to change, their ages stabilizing as their stolen essence returned. Obinna himself grew before her eyes, child becoming man once more. Even Mama Ezina transformed, the decades of false youth falling away to reveal the tired old woman she truly was. But the price was steep. Aleila felt herself fading, her willing sacrifice accepted by powers older than the pot itself. Her last sensation was of the twins in her belly, their kicks strong and sure, no longer touched by hunger but protected by her choice. "Take care of them," she whispered to Obinna as her flesh became light. "Let them choose their own paths. Let them know they were born from love, not hunger. Let them know their mother chose." When the sun rose the next morning, the ancient pot was nothing but harmless clay shards. The curse was broken. Mama Ezina was just an old woman with regret in her eyes. And Obinna held two healthy babies, twins born from their mother's last embrace. They say that on quiet nights when the moon is full, you can still hear Alayla's voice in the compound, not consumed, but transformed. That she whispers to her children stories of choice, of sacrifice, of love freely given. She reminds them that true family isn't bound by hunger or magic, but by hearts that choose each other, again and again. And in the kitchen, where a new pot now bubbles with honest soup, the family eats together, not out of compulsion, but out of choice. They remember Alayla not with sadness, but with gratitude. For she taught them the most powerful magic of all, the strength to choose love. They say her twins grew up to be powerful in their own right, not with dark magic, but with the unshakable knowledge that they were chosen, loved, and freed by their mother's will. And that is a power no pot, no matter how hungry, can ever consume. A mother's love knows no bounds, but in every family there are traditions that consume us, rituals that demand we sacrifice some of our wishes to keep the peace. Tonight, as you sit at your family table, look closely at what's really being served. What parts of yourself, of your family, are you sacrificing to keep tradition alive? Let's be honest in the comments below. Share your story. This is a safe space for those who understand that sometimes the true cost of love is found in ancient folktales from African mythology.